friends. This is Coach Pedro Tweed, also co-anchor with my wife, or Tweed Talks. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be on Tea Time with Bunky this Thursday coming up at 7 o'clock. We'll see you.
Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. This is Message. Hi, Dan. All right.
Welcome to Tea Time with
Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. This is super recent. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I missed you guys. I really did. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I would like to thank everyone that's tuned in tonight, all of my Tea Time with Bunky followers and subscribers that have been here along the journey. Thank you for taking this ride with me. Everybody who's tuning in for the first time, either the live or the replay, thank you. Enjoy the ride. You can find Tea Time with Bunky every Thursday live at 7 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. For all those that will be tuning in on Instagram, make sure you jump over to my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel, so that way I can see that you're here in your comments, because you can't see them now the way it's set up with this platform and Instagram. It doesn't show, so you can be included. Make sure you jump over and do that. You can catch this week's show next week, Thursday at 8 a.m. on Culture Shock Radio in Canada, Rockbox Radio, Radio Facero, New Mexico, Wap Their Music FM in Guadeloupe, the Caribbean islands, and the new Gnarly FM station, which is in Ecuador. And on Sundays at 12 p.m., you can catch this on Godfidence Radio. These are all on Zeno FM with additional online supports by Radio Music Box. If that was a lot for you to remember, just go ahead, download the VGN app. VGN app is totally free, and you can catch all these stations here. It's totally a different experience when you're listening to it on the radio. I mentioned Project 2025. For those that don't know about it, make sure you look it up. It's very vital. It plays a big role in this year's presidential election. It's something that the extreme conservatives are their plan is to put it through. It's a 900 plus page document that they plan to put through if he who remains nameless gets into office. So look it up, Project 2025. You have to know for yourself, you guys. This year's presidential election is a big thing. Make sure you get out there and know your candidates. It's not just a presidential, which is a big thing because there's a lot going on in this world. But know your state, know your county, know your town. All the people that's running, get to know them, not just the name behind the board and the signs that you see. Tonight's guest, Mr. Tweed, Pedro Tweed. I'm going to read a little bit about him. Mr. Pedro Tweed is a remarkable individual whose journey began in the Dominican Republic, and he now finds his home in Monticello, New York. With over 4 decades of experience as a gymnast and martial arts coach, Pedro has left an indelible mark on countless lives. His expertise and passion have been showcased in several magazines, television shows, and movies. Pedro is a prolific author with notable writings including Freeway and The Adventures of Coach Tweed. His commitment to education and positivity led him and his lovely wife to start the podcast Tweed Talks during the quarantine. This podcast aims to keep everyone connected and introduce listeners to the fascinating individuals he has encountered throughout his life. Pedro's mission is deeply rooted in educating children about the dangers of drugs and promoting a positive, healthy lifestyle, which is needed in this time. His dedication to making a difference continues to inspire and uplift communities everywhere. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest, Mr. Pedro Tweed. Hello, sir.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm great. Hey, Gabe, listen, welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. Thank you for being on my platform.
Oh, it's a pleasure. I wanted to go before when my wife did it, but
Right, which was December 28th to be exact.
right, and we got the bug.
Mm-hmm.
She was sick, and then she got me sick, which
Yeah, you were
usually
really
doesn't
sick.
happen.
You were sick.
But then I was sick, and I was so sorry that I missed it last time. But here I am today.
Yes, here you are. Everything, I feel that everything happens for a reason.
Right.
So your beautiful wife, and I kept complimenting her. She must have thought I was crazy because no, your wife is gorgeous. You have a beautiful wife. Those
Thank
eyes.
you.
Miss
Thank you very
Crystal
much.
Tweed, part 2 of Tweed Talks. She's the second half of Tweed Talks podcast. Tell everybody a little bit about you, what I didn't talk about.
Well, you said a lot, and sometimes when I hear some of the things that I have done, I say, "Wow," because I was present at those things, and then I did those things. I was born in Dominican Republic, and I moved up with my mom. In the early, when I was like 12 years old, and I always had a passion for sport. My
Okay.
father was a boxer, so I used to watch him when he used to fight, but he was also a tailor. So everything
Oh,
that he did, everything that he did, I tried to copy and imitate. And
okay.
so I had a passion for sport when I was young, but I was sickly. I was very sick when I was young, and I almost died.
Oh, wow.
And when I moved up here with my mom, and I went to school, and when I went to the school, I saw kids doing, things like gymnastics and wrestling and things like that. I was not interested on that. I was interested in doing martial art,
Okay.
because that's what I knew. But the coach that was at the high school, I was very skinny, and he said, "Wow, I saw you hanging on the bars. How many pull-ups can you do?"
Uh-huh.
So I did the pull-ups, and when I did the pull-ups, unbeknown to me, I broke the school record. So I did more than anyone in the school, but I wasn't thinking that way.
Okay.
So he said, so then he wanted to get me in gymnastics, but I wanted to fight. I wanted to be in wrestling. So after that, I started watching the gymnastics, but
Mhm.
I continued with the martial art, and I joined the martial art club, and
Okay.
I was fighting. But then I got transferred to another school, and when I went to that school, that was the second school in gymnastics as far as gymnastics.
Okay.
So then I started learning the gymnastics because I wanted to combine it with the martial art.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I did that, I didn't realize that, and now a lot of people are doing that. But I didn't realize that me and my brother back then were actually the first one doing that, which is now called
The
tricking.
gymnastics?
The gymnastic with mixed with the martial art.
Okay. I'm trying to
So
picture that. I'm trying to.
that when you're doing martial art, we
Mhm.
were doing the weapons, and
Crystal. That's
we were
part 2
doing
of
the
Tweed
weapons.
Talks. Okay.
Yeah, that's the sound. That's the sound behind me. There's a class going on with the tiny tots, with the 2 years old.
Oh,
And so after a little while, I started to become better at gymnastics.
okay.
And then I moved upstate, and I was working at the Hotel Brickman.
The Brickman
And
Hotel. I
the
remember the
Brickman
Brickman.
Hotel, right? And as I was working there, I was looking for a place in Monticello to work out, to do my gymnastics. And I said,
Okay.
"So where's the gymnastic team here?" And they all
And
looked at
so,
me like
wait,
I
when
was.
was this? When was this?
This was in the 70s, probably 75.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
1975. Okay.
yeah. So I was looking for a place to work out, and somebody told me that they didn't have a gymnastic team like we do back in New York.
No.
So I met this, yeah, I met this guy, Buddy Goldsmith, that was the recreation department director, and
Okay.
he had a couple of mats. So I
At
said,
the
"Oh yeah, I
Brickman.
could do that."
And this
Yeah,
was at the Brickman. Okay. Okay.
no, this was while I was working at the Brickman, but I came to
Okay.
the recreation department in Monticello.
The school or just?
No, the recreation department where they have for kids.
Oh, okay. All right.
They used to call it the dome back then.
Okay. All right.
So then I started to work out there, do, a couple of flips and things like that. And then it was time for me to leave. But I saw kids, they were trying to do martial art and they were trying to do gymnastics, but they didn't have someone to teach them.
Right. Typical.
So I volunteered.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I volunteered,
No, go ahead.
And then after I volunteered, every year I said, I'm going to leave. This is my last year because I'm an entertainer. I got to go back to the Brickman and do some shows, do.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so that's why you came here initially, was for the entertainment, because Sullivan County was an entertainment place.
The capital, yes. No, okay. But I didn't start that way. I started out folding towels.
Okay, like most people. Okay.
Right. I started, and then I met the guy that was in charge of the entertainment, and I started doing shows by the pool, doing a self-defense show. Then it became a thing.
Okay.
So when I was looking, because the Brickman was only open for the summer.
Seasonal, right. Most of the hotels were.
So during the winter, I used to go back. But then one time I didn't go back and stay here and started working for the recreation department in Monticello.
You fell into the trap, huh? You fell into the Sullivan County trap.
Yes, I did. And then
it was great though then.
Yeah, it was busy. I work at the movie theater with my friends here.
Okay.
And I stayed and I worked out, and then we built a team. And every year, like I said, I thought I was going to leave because I wanted to go back. I was going to travel. I was going to go and do a show in Puerto Rico. But then I fell in love with the kids, and then I couldn't leave. Every year I was leaving, and now 47 years later, I'm still here.
That's how it always happens. Like you have one plan, but then God switches it up. Be like, aha, we're not doing that, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
When I heard about the gymnastics, I didn't know. I was telling your wife last time. I honestly didn't know that there was a gymnastics school, right? I didn't know it until I was an adult, grown.
Yeah.
But when I was a little girl, I always wanted to do it. Like I used to flip around and but we didn't have a gymnast that I knew of around.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this one guy here, and you might have known him. I don't know if you knew him or not, but he was the only guy that I knew that was into gymnastics like that. His name was Marvin Gilmore.
Marvin Gilmore
from South Fallsburg. And I remember, I can picture him now in those shorts. Because, used to wear the shorts with the white trim back in the day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
With the muscle shirt on. And I could just picture him in that outfit, looking around and doing all of that. And that's when I knew it was more to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you used to do, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. So I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When did you open? Okay, so no, before we talk about the gymnastics school, what came first? I saw that you were an adjunct professor.
That came after.
That came after.
Yeah.
Gymnastics, right? You have gymnastics, you have acting, you're a book author.
Right.
What came first? Because I'm trying to navigate this conversation and see what, because you got a lot. You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, yes. Well, what came first, I used to write when I was, a kid, but I never took it serious. I just used to write stories. So I could say that came first because I was doing that since I was 16 years old, but I never published anything. I just had a whole bunch of things that I wrote.
Okay.
And then, but I think because of the martial art, and when I was doing martial art, they used to say that I talk like a fortune cookie. Because I was always, like Bruce Lee.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And picturing fortune cookies. Yeah.
So basically, I used to talk like that, because I used to read a lot of books, like books on Zen and, yin yang and things like that
Wow.
goes along with the martial art and the Bible, of course.
Okay.
So I basically was a very quiet kid. And when people would ask me a question, I would always giving a parable. Yeah. So
It's like we're not asking that much. Like you're doing too much, right? Like you simple question. Okay. I'm
right.
sorry. This
So I was a walking fortune cookie. And then
okay.
one time I was teaching martial art at the recreation department. And at the end of the practice, I always used to sit down quietly.
Mhm.
And then the student would ask me questions. And just out of the top of my head, I'd be answering questions. And then I didn't know where it was coming from.
Okay.
So then every time that we finish, we would sit down and they would ask me questions. And then one time I noticed that one of my students, Mike Beni, said, "Hey, are you going to speak now? Sifu, are you going to speak?" Sifu, which is the name for gymnastics. I said, what do you mean speak? Yeah, are you going to talk like you do? And then I said, yes, of course.
Motivation.
And
okay.
then all of them rang out. I said, wait, where are you going? So I didn't think that they liked what I was saying.
Mhm.
But then they came back with a recorder and with a pencil and a paper.
Oh
And they
wow.
started writing down what I was saying. I didn't realize that I didn't think I was saying anything that was that important
Right.
to remember. So the name of the book, the first book, became Freeway because those are the things that I was saying. And some of the things that I was saying was that you should have no limitation. You know, that freeway is finding room enough to evaluate yourself. That is what I had in mind. Because we have boundaries when it comes to the martial art. So if you
Mhm.
have boundaries, you couldn't grow. You couldn't get anywhere. You know, because
Okay.
you just did whatever your teacher told you, you did exactly the same and you didn't grow. But one of my martial art teachers told me that what's 1 + 1? I said 2. And he said, no, it's only 2 if it's dead. If it's alive, it grows and it changes. And I said, wow, that was amazing
Wow.
because everything that's alive has to grow. So I
Right.
don't teach my students to be as good as me because they always used to say, I want to be just as good as you. I said, no, you're aiming too low.
Right.
Because if you don't get better than me, then nothing changes, nothing grows.
Right.
So basically, we are here right now, and things get better because that's the way that nature's supposed to be. It's supposed to get better.
Mhm.
So everything that we used to do before, we don't do it the same way. I don't
No.
teach the same way. I don't teach a cartwheel the same way. You know, back then, if you saw the way that we taught a cartwheel, you would laugh today. But we
Yeah.
grow and we learn to do things better.
That's really profound. Like that, I never thought about anything the way you 1 and 1 always in my mind equals 2, and it's
Yes.
always going to equal 2. But
Uh-huh.
everything you add, you can continue to add 1 to stuff, and it's going to continue to
Right.
grow and get bigger. Okay,
If
so
it's
that
alive, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
The fact that you were planting knowledge in your kids and didn't even know it. I mean, the fact that they were actually listening to you and they were kids,
Right.
that
Right.
says a lot right there.
Mhm.
So you were motivationally speaking and not even knowing it.
Yeah, I didn't know because I was just speaking from my heart. But
Right.
then I didn't realize how much it was helping them. My students were not allowed to say my name when they went to the school. So the thing that they would say when they talked about me was the old man, even though I was 19 years old.
Why couldn't
So,
they say your name?
oh, because it was a thing that we didn't want to get around. But then afterwards we changed, you know.
Okay.
But anytime they talked about me, it was the old man said. So it was funny because when people met me, they thought they would see an old man, but it
Right.
was really this 21-year-old that was teaching at the time. So then
Wow.
we changed that. We didn't want to make the martial art. The way I taught was different than most people. We didn't want my kids to go around saying, I'm a martial artist, you know, and I could beat you up and things like that. We wanted respect and we wanted self-control. So I didn't want people to go, oh, I learned this, so I'm going to show off and go like that. So that's what, when they talked about me, they didn't say the martial art teacher. They just said the old man said.
Okay.
So that way nobody knew that they were doing martial art, because we kept that a secret.
I've heard things like that about martial arts.
Mhm.
That when people learn it, you know, they learn
Yes.
it for self-discipline. They learn it
Mhm.
for self-defense also, but it's really not about running out there starting fights and things. It's not,
That's right.
it's I don't know it. You know, I don't know all that stuff. It's a lot. My friend Gina, you know,
Mhm.
I'm sure you know Gina McKinney Sneed. Gina?
She,
Yeah, like
yeah.
we were both cheerleaders, right? So it
Yes.
doesn't surprise me that she went into that, but I
That's
don't. It looks really hard to me. I'm not even going to exaggerate. I look at you guys doing all of that. First of all, my body doesn't move that way. It looks like a lot
it.
of discipline.
Yeah, nobody's body moved that way at first. No,
Okay.
we awkward. But I
Yeah.
always say that, nobody did a first perfect step.
Okay.
So when you learn how to walk, you were wobbly, but you didn't give up then. Everybody's awkward on the first step. So the same thing with martial art. If you perfect the first time, I'd be scared. But it takes discipline. That's why they say that when you do martial art or gymnastics, it takes discipline, mental discipline, and physical discipline comes later, because
Okay.
we all uncoordinated, just like when you took the first step. The
Right.
first step that you took was wobbly, but then your parents encourage you to take another one. And
Right.
then eventually you take those steps, and now you know how to walk, you know how to run, you know how to talk, but then you forget as an adult that you could do the same thing with anything. Anything that you don't know, you could take a first step and go little by little. One of these philosophy that they use a lot is inch by inch, everything is a cinch. By the mile, it takes a while, but inch by inch, everything is a cinch. So if you
That's
go
really cool.
slowly,
That's cool.
every time I speak at a school, I bring that up. By the yard is hard, but inch by inch, everything is a cinch.
Are you always this positive? Like, oh no, you fell off of that wall. You can get up and do it again. Are you that person that's just you're
I,
so
I,
positive and encouraging? Like, because I would give up. I'd be like,
well,
you know what, forget it. And be like, no, don't
I
give up.
became that person. It was a process.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you because look, we have thoughts in our head all the time.
Right.
And the only way that we have a better life if you're able to manage those thoughts that's coming to your head. Okay, most of the time, the thoughts that are coming through our heads are uninvited guests. This is from my next book,
Right.
but the uninvited guests.
Right.
Uninvited guests are those thoughts that are negative.
Right.
That are telling you, no, you can't do that. There's no way you could do that. And look at them, they're better than you. See, if I listen to those thoughts, I wouldn't get anything. I wouldn't be able to write the book, because the thoughts coming to my head when I was writing is like, you from another country, this is your second language, you won't be able to, people wouldn't understand what you're saying. But understanding doesn't come just from, because I have an accent, some people don't understand me. Understanding coming from you saying, oh, I get it.
Right.
That's what understanding is. It's not if you speak a foreign language, or if you don't speak just like everybody else, as long as they get what you're trying to communicate, that's what's
Right.
important.
Very true. So that's how you created Freeway, by just conversating and the kids listening, and it's just everything like you've said over time. So that's Freeway, right?
Yeah, I got
Is that geared more
inspired
towards
going.
adult? Is that
I
geared
got
more?
inspired with. Go ahead. Yes.
Is Freeway geared more towards adults, even though you encourage and inspire kids? But is that more adulty than the?
Yes, than the other books. Yes.
Okay.
It's a little more deeper, but
Okay.
I get people all the time talking about their favorite page on that, because that book, Freeway, you could open it anywhere and read it. It's not like you got to read chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and
Okay.
you could go from, you could open in any page and say, "Oh, I got something from that." That was the idea behind that. The old short essay that you could, like I talk about bad boys in there on the book.
Bad Boys, the movies are real bad boys.
No, bad boys, giving advice to my daughter, for example. So bad boys, yes. So I was having this conversation with my daughter, and the conversation was, "What kind of boys do you like?" And she said, "Bad boys." And I was surprised because people tell me, "Oh, bad boys." Most girls look like for a guy that's like their dad. And I go like, I'm the further thing from a bad boy. I'm a nice guy. But then I asked my other daughter, my daughter that I adopted, and she said, "Yeah, bad boys." I said, "Bad boys?" Now I'm throwing off. So I go and ask her friends, and the friends say, "Yeah, we like bad boys. Bad boys." And I noticed that a large percentage of girls will say that they like bad boys. Not only younger girls, but older lady. "Oh yeah, I like a bad boy."
Yeah.
And then I got to find out why they say that. You know why they say that?
Why?
They say that because they think they could fix them. They think they could fix the bad boys. Okay. So it was kind of a ridiculous thing for me, because I said, you don't go to the Walmart and say, "Give me a bad TV, I'll fix it." so it didn't make sense to me. So that's why I started writing, these messages to young girls, because a lot of times when people are making the mistake, they're unaware that they're making that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They think that is the thing to do. "Oh, I'm growing, so I know." And that's why I wrote those books, because I want kids to be aware at an early age, not after they make the mistake.
You just really taught me something. You really did. I'm like, you just dropped some gems on me. I didn't think about that. And your daughters were right. A lot of girls want bad boys, or I wouldn't even call them bad boys. I would call them a challenge. I would call them a challenge, because we just think we can mold them into the good guy, because most girls do favor their father. They look for what's in their father, right? So you get this bad boys that has characteristics that you like, that's not like your father, but kind of like your father, but we just figure out to smooth out the edges, But at the end of the day, you get drawn into that badness with them. So just leave that alone.
We don't, but we do it only with people. We don't do it with things. We don't do it with a television. We don't do it with a car. You don't say, "Let me get a car."
Buy a bad car. That's crazy.
No, you want a car that's going to take you someplace. And at the end of Bad Boys, that's the advice that I give. That let me, I don't have the book here because I'm not home. But that's the advice that I give, that you should, if you're gonna get a guy, you should get a guy that's like a used car. One that's gonna work. Like a used car, yes. Let me see if I could find it here, but I have my phone. But yeah, like a used car. First, you gotta make sure that it works.
Okay. Right.
Right. Number 2, you have to make sure that the title is clear on the car, right? So in other words, not attached to anything else.
They can't do nothing with the car if the title is messed up.
Right. And make sure that it could take you for a long ride. You see, because bad boys don't have those qualities. They can't take you for a ride.
Nope.
If they don't have a job.
Don't work.
Yeah, it don't work. So basically, when I put it that way, it made a lot of people think about it.
Yes.
And that's in the book. I just paraphrase what was in the book.
Right, but it totally makes sense. That's, where do you come up with these things? Like, where does this come from? Where does it
come from? Look, we all have the ability to think about those things. Actually, we do. Like when you get up in the morning, and I'm just figuring out that certain times that are getting inspired, And I got to have my notepad there. And for me, when I'm taking a shower,
Mhm.
as soon as I'm taking a shower, I start to think, I could put this in this book, and things like that. And I say, wow, I'm so observing, watching people, the way that they behave. And I keep thinking, how could I inspire that person to do that better? And from teaching martial art and teaching gymnastics, that is our whole life as a coach, trying to do something better, trying to do it better and better and better. So you have to come up with an idea that will make something hard seem simple. So when I explain something to the girls, I say, well, you're gonna go upside down, blah blah blah. I have to make it in a way that they think, oh, this is easy, even
Mhm.
though it's not. So once you start figuring that things out, then I start to jot it down, write it down. And then when people see it, like I said, I speak in parable, I give examples. When people see it that way, it seems to be easier. There's no such thing, I say, as a negative person. There's only positive people that are positive about the wrong thing. We all positive, but we're positive about the wrong thing. Even when you say something negative,
That's
like,
a good way to
I
look
can't
at
do,
it. That's a good way to switch that up there.
yes, and I have to do that because people, when they say I can't do something, they are
Right.
positive that they can't do it. They're positive, so they're just positive about the wrong thing. That's
Right.
it. So every time that you have a thought coming to your mind that is not conducive to what you want to achieve, that's a negative thought. That's like having someone coming to your house and you don't know who they are, and they say, "Can I come in, look around?" Which actually happened to me. And they just wanted to look at my house, and then I didn't think,
What?
yeah,
No.
they wanted to see the setup and things like that, and we let them in. Oh, come in,
You let
right?
them in there, and you didn't know these people.
We didn't know these people, never
Oh
saw them before.
no.
But then I started to think about it. I said, what if they just wanted to rob us?
And take you out.
Think about that. But I have so much confidence on my ability that there's no way this person could do that. But anyway, so that's what we do with our thoughts. We let them in uninvited. Those are the negative thoughts that comes in and start to tell you that you can't do certain things. You'll never be good at this and things like that. But if a person that you don't know comes into your house, you know what I usually say? You say, no, you can't come in here. And we got to do the same thing with our thoughts. If they're not conducive to what we want, that's going to make it better, then we got to tell those thoughts to get out.
That's a lot of
Oftentimes
work.
people hold on to it. Huh?
That's a lot of work. That's a
Yeah,
lot of work.
yeah. But like everything else, look, I used to, when I first broke the record for push-up, everybody told me, all the experts told me that it couldn't be done.
What's the record?
Oh, you didn't know about that.
No, I don't know. I'm not. No, I'm sorry. No.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
What's the record?
The record was I created my own push-up. See, my wife moved things in the office, so it's not here. But I
think I
created
can
my
do
own
two.
push-up.
I think
And
I
the
could do 2 push-ups, maybe.
It was a push-up that was never done. It was never done. I was the first one to develop it. And then I went on Regis Philbin and Kathy Lee.
Regis
And
and
I set a
Kathy.
world record. Yeah, and I set a world record for it there. And it's called the planche push-up.
Plank. Okay, planks.
Planche push-up.
What? I don't exercise, so I'm going to ask
That's
you.
okay.
I think I know what
That's
a
okay.
planks is. I'm not sure.
Well, that's a push-up that I did with just my hands. And my feet are off the ground, but my feet are parallel to the ground, parallel to the floor.
What?
Yes, exactly.
That sounds crazy.
We had a picture in here, but my wife took it out. So I was going to show you. But
no,
yeah.
you're talking. I'm looking it up.
You looking it up?
Push up. I'm
So
going to look it up.
Go Pedro Tweed planche and Pedro Tweed push up on YouTube. I should send you that video.
32 plank push-ups.
That's right. So the first time I did it was on Regis and Kathy Lee, and I did 17.
I have no, you guys make sure, go Google Pedro Tweed plank push-ups. This is crazy because I don't even know. You can't really see because of the light. Look, wait, oh, wait, there we go. Wait, let's do this. You got look at that. That is that's insane. That's crazy. Kudos to you. Good. That's strength right there. That right there is upper body strength.
And discipline, because now there are people that are doing that and they don't know where it started.
And you started it. Where did that idea come from?
I created it, but there's nothing in here in the office that I could show you.
She said
there was a
your
newspaper
wife
article.
33. She can.
My wife dreams a lot. You know.
Okay.
My wife could do anything, actually. And she's an amazing person. If you ever seen her, there's the book. I do have a copy of the book here.
Yeah, your wife is an actress. I saw her Sullivan County commercials, and after the show, it's like she was everywhere. I don't know how that happened, but after she was on the show, it's like I just kept seeing her.
Yeah, she's very busy with it. She's done quite a few movies, but her memory is unbelievable.
Really?
I mean, the dialogue that she has for the next show that she's doing is tremendous. It's like 3 or 4 pages.
My memory is horrible. I don't remember from one thing I forget. Maybe I need to learn how to work on that. I need to work on my brain muscle, my body muscles. I'm just a wreck. It's terrible.
But you could do it. Some of the students that I have, because I teach Tai Chi also, some of the students that I have are 90 years old.
Really?
Yeah. And
now, Tai Chi, is that a lot of
slow moving?
Slow
moving exercise.
Slow.
It's an internal exercise.
Okay.
So very slow moving.
It's right up my alley.
It has to do with breathing. Okay, so the part of the bad boys that I was I found one of the books here. It says, first, you must be reliable. When you pick a guy, it should be like buying a used car. First, it must be reliable. Second, it must work. Third, the inside must be better or just as good as the outside.
Right.
4, have a mechanic look at it. A mechanic that you trust look at it. You make sure that it doesn't need any fixing. 5th, make sure that you could go for a long ride. 6, make sure that the title is free and clear and it doesn't belong to anyone else.
Look, I'm writing this down.
I sent you a book.
No, you don't say. I'm going to buy it. I don't like for people to. I really don't really like for people to send me stuff. I really prefer to buy it. I like to support.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
fine.
that right. Those. I'm going to tell that to my little cousins. When I see her, the guys they be dating, I'm be like, wait a minute, there's 6 things you should know. Compare them to a car. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because that right there makes you think.
Yes, and that's the idea. That's the whole idea behind it. Because most of the times when we make mistakes, we do it because we're not thinking.
Right. And that part right there, make sure that the inside is as good as the outside, because that's a great way to put it, because most young ladies and young men, whatever, they look at the outer appearance. And when I say, I can compare this to the young men too, because I have sons. So you're looking at, they look all good on the outside.
Right.
But now a lot of that outside isn't even real. You got all these augmentations going on. So when
Right.
you're driving down the road, stuff is going to start falling off,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
the outside is kind of jacked, but the inside, I tell people all the time, you can be the most beautiful person. But if your insides, if your personality and
Makes you
your
ugly.
spirit is ugly,
Right.
you're extremely ugly to me. Like,
I
so,
seen people faces change right in front of me. You know, they look beautiful. Oh, look at that beautiful person. Then all of a sudden, the personality, I seen
mhm,
the face like, oh my, they're ugly immediately to me.
right. And people don't get that. See, I can relate to you on that. I totally understand that. So now you have Freeway, which is
Mhm.
to the adventures of Coach Tweed,
Okay,
which is
that's
towards
called
the
the
kids,
adventure.
right?
uh,
That's
that's a serious, right? And
the gymnastics adventures of Coach. Yeah, I have it written
yeah,
down. I don't know why I didn't read it. Like,
not no, that's okay. A lot of people just say the adventure, and this is the other one. Okay, these are things that actually happen with my gymnasts. And then I had to think, just like I did with Freeway, I had to think of a way to motivate them when they were feeling down.
okay,
Because when you up and you could do anything, everybody likes you but
right,
when you feeling down and you believe to doubt yourself,
right,
it's usually because of the question that you're asking yourself. The question that you're asking yourself. And usually those questions are being negative and saying, no, you're not as good as the other person, blah, 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 blah. So you kind of become frozen. Okay.
okay.
And you know what happened with Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast in the world,
Yes,
right? Okay. So a lot of people were, oh, Chichu, just do it, because they didn't understand. They weren't coaches. And even some coaches were saying that.
mhm,
But the truth is that because I seen it on my own gym, I know that that happens. I know that you freeze, you know.
that anxiety and everything that hit her. Yeah,
Yeah. And people that were criticizing her, they don't understand that they had never been in that position
right.
where she's doing skill that no one in the world has ever done.
She's
Right.
amazing.
So
Yes,
you don't know what's going inside her mind.
right,
And then she said that she felt like she was holding the world on her
right,
shoulder.
right.
Okay.
For
So
such a little person, for such a
right.
small person. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And all these things were going on, you know. And every time you saw a commercial, you didn't see commercial with other gymnasts. You always saw Simone Biles, Simone Biles, Simone Biles.
mhm,
So that's a lot of pressure.
right,
So what people, you know, and me as a motivational speaker, I used to say the same thing. You know, you make diamonds out of pressure. But
right.
what some people don't realize that sometimes too much pressure break things,
Yes.
and
Thank
that's
you
what
for
people are
saying
not
that.
aware of.
Thank you
Huh?
for saying that because you hear it all the time. Pressure makes diamonds. You hear it all, but you're right. Sometimes the pressure is too much, and you just shatter everything. It just turns to
Right,
dust.
right. So you
Thank
you
you.
have to build things up in a way where you could handle it. And I
Mhm.
think that this time she's gonna handle it because she went through that.
She's
And
about
then
to
she said,
kill it. I can't
right,
wait. I
right.
can't wait for the Olympics.
Hmm.
I can't wait.
And
Now,
what a lot of people don't realize that other gymnasts were expected to do really well at the Olympics, the same thing happened to them instead that they didn't say anything. So when they
oh,
competed,
uh-huh.
they messed up and people, oh, I'm so surprised. But I wasn't surprised. I was surprised that it never happened to her yet until that
Mhm.
time. But yes, being able to manage your mind is not that easy. It's
No,
just like anything else. You got to work at it, and it's an exercise that you got to do.
right.
And a lot of parents like to say, because there's a parents book that I'm writing for parents, they like to say, "Oh, you just got to put your mind to it," and it's not that easy.
No.
You know, send your mind is not that easy. It's something that you have to work on, and then once you learn how to do it, then you could put it into practice. But until then, it's just a saying.
Mhm.
Put your mind to it. So do this for me. Go like this with your hands, and then tying up just your hands. Tying it up, just your hands, just your hands. Okay, now release your hands and relax, 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 relax. Now, if I ask you, where was your mind when I told you to do that?
Focusing on my hands.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's the question that I ask my Tai Chi student. Where's your mind? And they say, well, it's here and there. Your mind is wherever you put it. So when I said tying up your hands, you put your mind on your hands, right?
Right.
Right. So if you put your mind on your goal, it would be just like holding like that. You decide what the goal is, and you write it down before you go to bed, and then you read it when you get up in the morning. So it's fresh.
Okay. So write it down when you go to bed
Just before you go to bed,
and read it when you get up.
and read it when you get up.
Okay.
Right?
I'll write
And
this
because
down.
it's discipline, you have to do it for a certain amount of time, and then you learn how to do it just like that.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Because we do everything that we do, we plan it before, but then when it happens, we don't think that we did that. Like, let's say a young man wants to talk to a young lady.
Uh-huh.
They're thinking about it before they do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they think about it. Oh, this is what I'm going to say. So you
Yeah,
see,
they practice it.
right, they choreograph it. They choreograph it how they're going to do it.
Right.
So then people, oh, it just happened. You know, it didn't happen. You were planning it. I like that girl. You started saying it in your head. I like that girl. I wonder if I tell her this, how it's going to turn out, you know. And you start planning it in your head, and then you put it into action. See, so and most of the things that we do happens that way, but we don't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, I was gonna
We
say I
really
never
don't pay
thought about
attention.
it like that, but you're absolutely right.
Everything, you know, the person you met, you know, nothing happens just like that. Sometimes they do. Sometimes, oh
Mhm.
wow, I can't believe that happened.
Right. Okay.
Somebody said that some people let it happen, and some people make it happen, and some people just go, "What happened?"
And that is exactly how people are. That's
Mhm.
exactly how that is. Oh man, Mr. Tweed, you're amazing. Now you're going to be at a book signing. Oh, I
Uh-huh.
have it down here. You're going to be well. First, for the people, Tweeds Gymnastics is located at 33 Lakewood Avenue in Monticello, New York. For
Mm-hmm.
people that don't know, and you guys the kids start what 14 months? Is it 14?
14 months. The
Right.
class
See,
I
I
just
remember.
left is 14
Uh-huh.
months. The class I just left is 14 months. Yeah.
How
14
does
months
that
out.
look? That just looks like a bunch of little energy running around. It's like, what is going on with that?
Yeah. Everything in life is energy,
Uh-huh.
you know. So let's say that you have water flowing down,
Right.
right? If you go like this, while the water is flowing down, and you put your hands like this and you try to stop it, what happens?
It's still gonna run through. It's gonna run.
It just splatters. It
Yeah,
just
it's still
splatters
gonna
like this.
right.
So it goes all over the place. So that's what a little kid is like. You don't try to stop him, but you cup your hand like this so you could guide it.
Oh, wow.
You see? So
Yeah.
when the water is, you just cup your hand and guide it.
Right.
So you don't want to stop the energy. You don't want to go like this and stop it. You want to just
guide it a little bit.
Guide it, and then you could use that later.
That's amazing. I totally commend you and your wife for dealing with, and whoever else works with you guys with those little kids.
Well, they come with their parents, the little ones.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a parents' participation as well.
And the oldest age, because for people that do have a Facebook page, Tweeds Gymnastics. So if people want to go back and look at that, you guys have won. Like I see the little girls with the medals on, and I live vicariously through the pictures. I really do. I'm like, that should have been me back in the day. You know, so it's like it's amazing. Like, how do the families feel when they go to these type of events? Because I honest to God didn't know these were here. I did because I don't have daughters. I don't have daughters. So
you're not the only one. You'd be surprised how many people have come up to me. I wish I knew that we had that.
Right.
Okay. One of the things that we don't advertise is word of mouth. Okay. because the first time that we put a thing out and we advertise, it became too much. And even now, my wife is constantly calling people away because it's too many people.
That's because
And
there's
when
nothing
you
here.
put something on Facebook and you see kids with a medal and things like that, everybody says, "Oh, I want to go to that gym."
Right.
So that becomes, challenging because we want to keep the quality and this. And if you have too many,
Quality
then
over quantity. I get it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it.
So
All right.
so that makes it hard. So we keep it down to a certain amount of people, unless we hire more coaches, of course.
Okay. And now how many coaches do you have? Is it just the two of you?
No,
Okay.
my wife hardly coach. She coaches once in a while.
Oh, okay.
She's doing
All
her
right.
thing. She's doing her acting and her PR.
Okay.
But I have my stepdaughter,
Okay.
my wife's daughter. She was one of my former gymnasts, and she coaches now. And
Okay.
all of my coaches right now were my former gymnasts, and they were all state champion. So
State champions.
that
Oh,
so that makes it
okay.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah, because they know what they're doing.
And my
Congratulations.
brother-in-law.
So you have one guy outside yourself.
Yeah, because we start doing boys for a while.
Coaches.
And then we started doing boys again because we had these two boys that were interested. And actually one of them became a state champion this year.
Okay,
First time competing,
congratulations
yes.
to him. Okay.
Yeah, and the other one got like 11 medals on the first time competing.
Wow.
So we have my brother-in-law helps me out with the boys and the girls as well.
Okay. Well, congratulations to all of the greatness going on at Tweeds Gymnastics Gym. Okay, so your book signing.
Yes.
It's Tweed Talk and Signing on June 15th. At the where is it? I have
The
it
library.
right.
My wife knows better because she keeps track of that.
I got this. Oh, here we go. Right here. At the Daniel Pierce Library in Grahamsville from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So, is this your first event like this? Probably not.
No, I done other book signing, and last time I did the at the library here in Monticello.
Okay. How
there
is
was
that?
a book fair. That was a book fair.
Okay.
And that was good because I actually ended up having to order more books because the other one is coming. I said, "Oh my goodness, I ran out of books almost."
That's a plus. That's a plus.
Yeah. So I'm going to be speaking there, and then I'm also going to be speaking at the school, one of the teachers.
Monticello School?
Rutherford School, yes.
Oh, Rutherford.
But that's for a class.
Okay. So what? Like the teachers invite you in to talk
The
to
teachers the teacher invited me.
So it's like end of the school year type of deal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 2 years ago, I was invited to go and teach Tai Chi to the kids, which I did.
So wait, how do you do that? If it's a school event, you only got what, like a half an hour or something? Or did they do it like a
they gave me an hour last time, I think. But I used to do that a lot before.
Trying to figure out how much can you teach in an hour? You got all those little minds everywhere, or big minds or whatever. How in the world? But no, thank you for doing that. I'm sure some parent really appreciate it. Some kid, you probably opened up a door to some kid who never thought they would experience something like that.
Right. And that's the important thing, to experience something, and then they could look for themselves later on.
Right.
Because as a kid, I was very curious. And that's why I got into martial art. Like, people used to do other type of martial art, like karate and things like that. Right. I was doing kung fu. So it was different than most people. Just like my push-up. It's different than everybody else.
That thing is crazy.
And when I did my pull-ups, it was the same thing. I just did one arm pull-up and instead of doing both arms. But the kids were encouraging me They're the one that they would tell me, yeah, coach, go, go. I did it for them. I did
What?
it for them.
You did it for them. Now, when you did that plank push-up, because I'm just
Yeah.
curious, when you first did it, was it like a spur of the moment thing? Or
No, that was what happened was how people say what happened was what happened was is I saw a kid doing a push-up and the form was terrible. And I like to tease them. So I said, come on, Kathy. I could do that better with my feet off the ground. And the kid went, show me. But it wasn't true. I couldn't do it. So I decided that I was going to motivate the kids by telling them what was possible. And at the time I couldn't do it, but I ended up doing it. And then the first time I did one and surprised everybody. But then after that, when I went and I spoke at an event, a gymnastic event, and I said that everything is possible. And then I said that I have done the planche push-up, and they said, no, it's impossible. And then when I did it, and said, yeah, but that's only one. But you just told me that it couldn't be done.
right.
So then after that, I did a thing in school, and they asked me, what is something that you thought that you could never do? I said, well, I invented this push-up. And then I demonstrated it. I went to New York to see Regis. He used to have a TV show named Regis Filming. So I went down and I said, listen, I saw someone do push-up on your show on the fingers like this. And I said, I could do that.
Was that real?
Said,
real?
Yeah. I said, I could do that. And he said, really? I said, yeah, but I do it the real way. The guy that you had did it like this with his fingers like this. I do it like this, just my thumb. And he said, let me see. So I did it.
That just doesn't, I can't even imagine that. Like that just doesn't.
Well, Bruce Lee used to do 2 fingers. So
that was real? That was real?
Yes, that was real. Yeah, that was real. I know it's real because I did it. So there's videos of me. I will send you the videos of where I'm doing just one finger. It's actually on the news with Barbara Pinto. She did an interview. And I did the finger push-up. But then I did the planche push-up for Regis, and then a year later they had me on with the Guinness Book of Records.
So you got records, Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah, I was the first one to do it. So even if I did just one, it would have been a record.
Okay. Why? I just want to know why. Why do you want to
You know why? Because
not the record. I'm just saying, like, push-ups with your fingers, and why?
Oh, because I was getting bored with regular push-up.
Okay.
I was doing regular push-up with people on my back and things like that. And one of the ways to prove my strength was to do it like that, because a lot of people weren't doing it.
Okay. I mean, like, I'm always curious. I mean, people do things that totally out of the norm. I mean, it takes somebody to think out of the box, but I always want to know why. Like,
because it inspired people.
Yes, it does, because
it inspired people. When people do something that they thought it was impossible, that inspired them to be creative and come up with something, you know. And as I said before, we always growing, right?
Right.
So if we could do finger push-up like this, what's the next step? Maybe 4 finger, maybe 2 finger, maybe 3 finger, maybe 1, or maybe clap behind your back. And so you keep creating and making things more interesting.
Well, thank you for showing me that. And the viewers, when they go back and watch it and watch you do those plank push-ups, it just doesn't seem real. Looking at it, that's why I had to look at it twice, because it just didn't. Like, what is going on? That is an artist right there. Like, yeah, you You showed me tonight. You showed. I seen it. I seen it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and there's going to be people coming up with different, a whole bunch of different things. Life is always evolving.
Right.
Things that we thought that couldn't be done. The one thing that I tell people, look, if I was the biggest and the best, right, then why every 4 years somebody's breaking a record?
Because there's always somebody after you.
There's
that
always
is
somebody
going to do it.
that,
There's
that it could always be
somebody.
done better. It could
Right.
always be done better. So just because you're the first one doing it, that's
Right.
good, because that could not be changed. If you were the first one, you're the first one doing it. But then there are always going to be people that are going to go further.
They're going to keep.
Yes.
People are going to keep challenge. Look, I'm trying to turn this down. Wow. Okay. All right, but before we wrap up, anything you want people to know before I do go into my spiel? This was great. It went so fast. It went too fast. We didn't even hit half the things.
Well, there's always another time. And there's always another time when my other book comes out.
Yes.
What do I want people to know?
Yes.
I want people to know that I was a sickly kid, weak. And when I got older, because of that weakness, I decided that I wanted to be strong. So I'm not stronger than anybody else. That as long as your mind, as long as you're thinking, you could be creative and you could do anything that you want and anything that you put your mind to, because you know where you put in your mind. So like I said with that hand thing, is that if you ask, where is your mind should be on your goal.
Right.
And anything that you want to do, your mind should be on your goal. And then when you do it, think about it before you go to bed and think about it after when you wake up. The reason why I said that you got to do it before you go to bed is because that's when your mind is the most relaxed. Okay. And that's when your mind is not fighting. See, during the day, you're going, oh, maybe I can't do that. But when you relax and you say, this is what I want, and then you go to sleep, then your mind is relaxed and it's more able to accept things the way that you want it.
Okay. So you planted the seed when you went to bed and you woke up. Right. You woke up and you're reading it, you're watering in it. So you're planting the seed and then you're watering it.
And then it grows when you wake up in the morning.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I got a lot of little things I wrote. Wow. I totally enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too.
Wow.
And I thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you and your wife for coming on. I had you both separate. Next time I'm gonna have you together. Next time I'll get you two together.
Yes. We are a good duo.
Yes, y'all are. Y'all are a dynamic duo. And for everybody, like I had said before, you can catch him at his signing. I still have it going on. June 15th at the Daniel Pierce Library in Grahamsville, New York. You can meet him. He'll be signing books and speaking. If you tuned in tonight, if you missed it, go back and watch it because he's so inspirational. You are so inspirational and positive. And you guys got to get Freeway now so you can highlight the thing about the cars. Remember, reliable? Well, not the cars, the bad boys. Is he reliable? Does he work? Is his insides or her insides as good as the outsides? Make sure you have a mechanic. Look at it. Can it go for the long ride? And make sure that the title is clear. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Make sure the title is
clear and it doesn't belong to anyone else.
Doesn't belong to anybody. Let me tell you guys that is a lot. That's how everybody should live their life because that is a gem right there. Thank you. Yes, Shad, it was a great show. So you guys, like I said, you can catch this show anytime now. You can go back YouTube, Facebook, but subscribe to my YouTube channel. Trying to get my numbers up. Next Thursday, you can catch this show on Zeno FM, on Culture Shock Radio, which is in Canada, Rockbox Radio, Radio Facero, New Mexico, Wapta Music FM, which is in Guadeloupe, the Caribbean island, Gnarly FM, which is in Ecuador. That's our newest station, the VGN Bills Global Network. And on Sundays, Confidence Radio. The VGN Network is amazing. It's a group of creatives, and the stations are heard in over 191 plus countries. It services 100. Even Dominican Republic is on there.
Good.
So they catch it over there too. So yeah, we're a global network and we're steady growing and planting seeds of positivities, a bunch of different creators with different ideas, different platforms, a whole bunch of different things. So you guys go check out the VGN Facebook page, download the Village Global Network app on your phone, which is free. Next week's show, I don't know if you know him. He's a Fallsburg native, young man, 25 years old. This boy's story is amazing. I love those heartwarming stories. So that's next week. Mr. Amstad Hackett will be on next week. So you guys tune in. Make sure you tell a friend, like, share, follow, and subscribe. Hey, times. I appreciate you all so much. And continue to take the ride with me. Mr. Tweed, follow Mr. Tweed. Go to Tweed Talks.
Yes.
TWEED Talks. Facebook. Share. I mean, like, they talk to like famous people and stuff like that, y'all. Like they stuff like that. Go there and listen to those conversations. Join in. You won't be sorry. Show your love and support to them too. We appreciate you, and I will see you next week. Bye now.